yo, it is your host DLC, and welcome back to another installment of the Lions Club. You already know, if it ain't a vibe, we ain't going live. Type shit. Sitting across from me, a very special guest, who he was actually on the Lions Club season 1. If I recall, it was either episode 4 or 5. Uh, a partner of My City, My Music. He is Casmo. He is 61 years. His dad is Tim of the singing duo Mel and Tim. He is a 20-year-old disabled military vet, author of 2 books, Injured in Iraq, plays multiple instruments, CEO of Mo Pro Productions,
Yeah.
creator of Wednesday Wine and Words, and a promoter from Chicago. Everybody give it up for Casmo.
Yeah, man. What's going on, bro?
How you doing, man, since the last time we done sat down and chopped it up?
Oh, man, I'm blessed, man, and did a couple of new ventures, stepped off into something new with this MoPro production, which is a podcast radio station over at My City, My Music. Give it up for Overtime Studio.
Yes.
And it's just something new, man, that I decided to try, after I got into the podcast game when I started doing Tuesdays Up in Smoke. I had talked to Justin, and he told me what the criteria was to be a partner. So I said, hell, I might as well give it a shot, And since then, I think if I'm not mistaken, I think I got 7 podcasts under MoPro now.
7 podcasts. We got to clap it up for that.
I think I got about 7 now, though. So it's going pretty well.
So what led to that? What led you into spark the interest in podcasting?
Well, it was basically it was an individual that made a statement about that man in there. Names unknown.
Right.
And it was pertaining to me. Said that he think he got somebody over there that can do what I do. And either little do he just lit a fire under me and shit, because that don't do nothing but motivate me. If you think that I came over here to try to do something that you do, which was not my intention. I just came to do my podcast, but since you threw the challenge out there, challenge accepted. Look at me now.
7 shows deep, man. That's what's up,
Yeah,
though.
look at me now. 7 shows, and all of them are doing well. I got 4 or 5 now that's going on. It's already either they've surpassed or are getting ready to reach the 1-year plateau for their shows. So I'm real happy about that everybody's actually sticking around with MoPro Production. And usually when somebody hangs around you for that length of a time, that means that you must be doing something right.
Absolutely.
So kudos to everybody. I know before the show is over with, I'll make sure that I mention them all.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We got
to.
It's only right. You know what I'm saying?
But again, like I said, most of them besides 2, which is Smoking Vent with Kaiserific and Angie of OG Got OG, they haven't quite made it to the 1-year marker because they just got started. And Make It Make Sense with my man Solomon, and he called himself Max Dollar. And they got a podcast that's doing pretty well, and that's one of the podcasters that I have that's actually my only one that's monthly. They do a show every Monday. So the days are getting filled up, and I know sooner or later down the line, I'm more than likely go claim this already. I'll have more shows. So.
Absolutely. So Smoke Event, anybody just can anybody can just come
Yeah,
in
Smoke
there?
and Vent was created by Christopher Kaiser. They call his poet stage name is Kaiserific. And Angie, she's the CEO of OG Got OG. They created Smoke and Vent to do exactly that. If you got something on your chest that you want to get out, it doesn't matter what it is. You can come down here, get at the table, get on the mic up here on the stage, and just smoke and vent about it. Just talk about it, get it off your chest. So
Straightforward.
yeah, yeah. And then when they brought it to me, I said, you know what, that's pretty straightforward. So kudos to those two. It's a great show. They had my man Black Charles on just recently. Monday, Black Charles was on, and that was a great show. So they doing great things, man. I'm looking forward to doing more with them.
Absolutely. So you say your dad is which one? Mel or
Tim.
Tim?
My dad's Tim.
Tim.
Yes,
Okay.
Tim of Mel and Tim.
So,
That was the group Mel and Tim. They came out in the early '70s. Gene Chandler was their manager. They was on the Stax label up in Memphis. Then I believe after Stax went out off they went to Sony and did some stuff with them. They had about I think it's about 4 albums out. I'm finna start filling out the paperwork because I do believe that Mel and Tim should have a star up here on the St. Louis Walk of Fame. I think they should have one. And I told my brother that I was go check into it to get the paperwork done to do that. But yeah, if I mention some of the records now, it'd have to be somebody whose beards are grayer than mine. They'll probably remember them. Such songs like Backfield in Motion, Starting All Over Again, The Same Folks, I'm Your Puppet, Mail Call Time, Groovy Situation. You know what I'm saying? They did some nice stuff. They got a couple of gold albums. I think that was Starting All Over Again and Backfield in Motion. I think both of those songs went gold. And I think Groovy Situation did pretty well too. But yeah, Mel and Tim, that's where I get all my talent from, man.
yeah, I was gonna ask. That's a little bit before my time. So,
Yeah.
like, do you know how did they connect? The story
Well,
behind that?
they cousins. Mel is my cousin. He was my dad's first cousin, and just like everybody back then that got into music, where they started. That they started singing together in church. And if you ask any of the '60s and '70s songwriters, singers, or musicians, stuff like that, more than likely they started out singing in church.
Yeah.
And they started singing in church. I think my cousin went off to no, my dad went off to war, and when he came back, they started again singing up in church, and then they decided to just go ahead and put it together. Like I said, Gene Chandler was you probably don't know who the hell he is either.
No.
Gene Chandler was their first manager, and got them hooked up with Stax record company in Memphis. So then in '85, when my dad took ill, they had to break up the group. So
Gotcha.
yeah.
So, what did he play? That's how you learned all your instruments from?
Well, I really don't know if my dad played any instruments. I know my mom played piano. I don't know if my dad played any instruments. But I really got my fascination with as far as playing instruments from my sister. She started me out. She played bass, saxophone, drums, and guitar. So the first instrument that I learned to play was drums, and she taught me how to play that. Then I turned around and started fiddling around with the bass, and taught her the bass. And
That's tough.
I was in a group called Generation. I think we started this group when I was in 7th grade, and we started the group with a Bach guitar and a pair of click clacks. If you don't know what a pair of click clacks is, Google it. You'll trip out when you see what they are. And a Congo. That's what we started the group with, and we got together and started put a drum set together. Then my sister got involved. She already had a guitar and an amp and all that, and we were in the garage next door to my house. We wasn't in there. We was using the people's next door garage
Gotcha.
to rehearse in, and It was a gentleman. He had a record shop. This is when they sold had. This is when we had record shops, y'all. So this is how old this was. He had a record shop down the street from my house on Ashland, and he was coming down the alley one day in his car, and he heard us in there practicing, and he knocked on the door and he said, "You guys sound really good to be as young as you are, you know, 'cause that was back when Brick House came out, and man, we was in there killing Brick House and shit." So he said, "I need y'all to come down to the shop." So, you know, and we got through playing. We went down to his record shop. He said, "I'm going to show y'all something." He said, "And when y'all see this, y'all can come down anytime y'all want to." That man took us to the back of his shop and opened up the garage door, and he had every instrument in there you ever would want to play. Gotcha. And that's where you could find us at every day down there. He told we come down there and rehearse on his. Dude, we was in there, and the what guitar and the guitar player and the drummer's father got wind of us, and he decided he wanted to start managing us, and from there we just took off, started winning talent shows and getting called out to go perform at certain places, and we were still young, man. We hadn't even graduated out of grammar school yet, you know, but the talent was there, you know, and that's one of the things that I can look back on and say that I should have been more involved in music, because I was one of those that would rather be out chasing girls than in the house. Like what my man say, practice. You know, practice. I don't need no damn practice.
Hey, I
You
feel
know,
you.
all I do is just get up and sing. I do that every day in the shower. I don't do no damn
I'm
practice.
just trying to play. I ain't trying to do all
You know.
that.
And manager wasn't having none of that though. So, and my stint with that band lasted for a little time, you know. And I really didn't stay in the music like I should have, you know. And then after the death of my sister, I really just hung up music, and started living the streets, you know. And it took a while, but it finally woke me up, you know. Take another.
I want to get into that, you being in the streets. But before that, out of all the instruments you know how to play, which was the most difficult to learn?
Trumpet.
Trumpet.
Yeah, trumpet. And the only reason why trumpet was difficult for me to learn was because I was teaching myself. And it's a whole bunch of different schematics and stuff that go with blowing the trumpet. And now I'm learning that because now I'm taking lessons. Mm-hmm. And I was a little upset with myself when I started taking the lessons, because I never knew reading music was so damn easy. It's easy as hell. Reading music is easy as hell. And if I'd have paid attention, hell, I'd probably be able to play anything I ever wanted to.
Right.
You know, but that was just a part of my life that I say if I could go back, that would probably be the only thing that I would attempt to change, is I would be more attentive with my music, you know, because I think I let a lot of windows close doing street shit when I should have been into my music.
So did you started doing street stuff because of the death of your sister?
No, I started doing street stuff because I was in the streets.
Gotcha.
You know, I picked up cocaine when I was in the service. I didn't go into the service till I was 21. So, so before then it was just in the streets working, messing around with a lot of different women. You know, doing the gang shit like everybody was up in Chicago at that time. And it was either go to the service, go to jail, or get killed. You know, so I chose the latter. I took my ass to the service.
Okay, that show was one of my questions.
Yeah.
What was the reasoning for you going to the military?
Yeah,
and how was that experience for you?
Oh man, you know, I could sit back and talk about that. One was it was eye-opening as far as, you know, you hear about it, you read about it, your ancestors or your people tell you about it, but to actually see racism up front was kind of, you know, was a shocker to me, because man, it was a couple of individuals that I was in the service with that was actually teaching that shit to them young white men up there. They was teaching them to hate, you know, and that was a real difficult time for me, man. I couldn't get ranked because I'd be damned if I let anybody talk to me the way that they wanted to talk to me because of the color of my skin.
Right.
And being in an all Caucasian squad made it real hard for me to get promoted, get noticed in anything, and them they would pick on me and bully me, shit like that, because it was an all white squad. And it brought me to the point that I was doing more fighting than I was learning.
Damn.
And so to keep away from it and shit, I had a motherfucker tell me we going to the field, I'd play sick. I ain't going nowhere with you motherfuckers. That happened, believe it or not, that happened my first 8 months in California. Everybody had got promoted. They was either E3s or Spec 4s. I was still a private. And our battalion sergeant major came through. He was doing an inspection, and he asked me. He said, "Why are you still a private?" And I told him, I said, "Because I'm in a racist squad." I said, "If you look down this line, everybody got on rank but me." You know, and this is when things changed for me with the military because that brother did something that just fucked everybody up. The next day, I mean the very next day. Now, mind you, I was still at E1. Everybody else was PFCs and Spec 4s going on to be corporals. The next day, I was promoted from E1 to PFC. Okay, that was the next day. I was promoted from E1 to PFC. The next day, I was promoted to Spec 4. I was a PFC for 12 hours. It took him 3-4 months to get that man promoted me from E1 to Spec 4 in 2 days.
Wow.
And then got me out of that squad. He said, the man, I said, if you was a female, I'd kiss you. He got me out of that squad, and from that day on, my military career took off. They was real upset to see that I was actually got a chance to learn because you wasn't teaching me shit. You was prejudiced.
Right.
You know, and even right now today, it's some of the guys. They ask me would I be interested in coming to a reunion. I told them no, I wouldn't come to the reunion because there's a couple of them. I see them now, I'd beat their ass. And I mean that shit, man. I can't stand that shit. So but the military, going to the military is something that I would never change.
I'm
you
like,
know.
so you, I was like, so you in Chicago in the streets, and then you go to the military, and now you're dealing with prejudice.
Yeah, but like I say, it was a learning experience to find out, and my dad was trying to tell me that before I went in, because he didn't want me to go. He didn't want me to go, and he said, "I don't want you to be around that kind of environment." And I told him, "No, I'm not too much worried about that. I just wanted to get off the streets of Chicago, because like I said, it was either do that or wind up in jail or dead.
Right.
So I decided to go on in. I had already graduated from high school, and then it was funny. I had signed up on in the cohort plan. That meant that everybody that I went to basic training with, we would wind up at the same duty station for the first 3 years of our military career. We'd all still be together. And when I went to go, they changed the legal drinking age from 18 to 21. So I told them, I said, "Yeah, y'all can go on ahead and wait those 2 years, bro." I was serious. I wasn't going down there and I couldn't drink.
Right.
He kissed my ass. I said, "No." I said, "Well, I go in on it was called a delayed entry program." So I was already signed up. I was already in. I just hadn't, signed that dotted line yet, But when it was time for me to go, I went down, spent the night in the hotel next morning. I was on a flight to Atlanta, Georgia, on my way to Fort Benning. So
Gotcha.
yeah, that was it was a learning experience, but especially the way things are going now, I wouldn't recommend it for any young man of color right now because they don't. I don't see anything that they're doing now. As far as the wars and stuff that's going on and shit, it was stupid to me while I was over there. I had a three star general come up and ask me, do you know why you here? I said, yeah, they trying to get these people's oil, I guess. Shit. Y'all already done caught Osama, and so why are we still over here, you know? They just do shit. That's how come I don't get into politics, but that's another whole story.
Don't be. Okay, so you say you got injured in Iraq.
I got injured during Iraq during the mortar attack. I got kind of shoved off a truck during the mortar attack. Yeah. Well, everybody was trying to get off, you know, and the impact blew me, I think, maybe about 20 feet because it blew up on the other side of the truck. And a lot of people don't understand. They say, why didn't you didn't get a lot of, I was lucky than a motherfucker that I didn't get hit with a lot of shrapnel.
Right.
Because it was a mortar round that came in and hit. But the way that mortars work is when they come down and they explode up and out. Okay? That's how come they always told them, and I tried to tell these dummies too, the first thing you do during a mortar attack is just get down on the ground. That's your best chance of surviving. Because you get up and start running, you're going to get knocked the fuck down with that scrap metal. You know what I'm saying? You might as well just get close to a building and lay down.
Right.
And coming off that motherfucker, that the vibration of it pushed me out, and I sort of hit the ground, and my leg, I heard it when it popped. And what it did was it completely tore my ACL.
Damn.
And shattered my meniscus.
Damn.
So for 3 days I was supposed to be on crutches, but I decided to walk on a cane because it wasn't really hurting. And they said, "Oh, you ain't gonna feel it." He said, "But you can't run. He said you can't cut. You can't do none of that. You can't do shit military."
Right.
So they decided that I was gonna get medically discharged. I was mad about that shit because I had 19 years in. All I needed was another year, and I could have retired.
Oh,
know?
man.
But like I say, the quote unquote racist shit was still going on. I was shipped over to when I came back from Iraq. They did the surgery on me in Kansas City, and then they sent me to Fort Leonard Wood. You know, and them motherfuckers, the only thing they wanted to do was try to get your rank off of you and shit because they didn't like people of color with, you know, the rank that I had. You know, so they tried to do every damn thing they can there to get me demoted and all that shit. I told them, motherfucker, you know what? They already, first of all, the doctors fucked up and didn't tell me that they had removed all the meniscus out of my knee. They had removed all of it. So I was actually walking around bone against bone and just didn't know it. You know, and it took a specialist there that went over my chart and said, "How long you been doing physical therapy?" I said, "I've been doing physical therapy now for 6 months." He said, "They should have been discharged you." He said, "You have no meniscus." So he said, "Your bones are rubbing bone." He said, "You've been wondering why you've been in so much pain." He said, "Young man, you rubbing bone against bone." You know, and me being the gung-ho motherfucker that I am, seriously, being the gung-ho motherfucker that I am, I was doing everything to try to get my leg back as normal as possible. And he said, "You wasn't doing nothing but rubbing bone against bone. And that wasn't going to do nothing but make it worse."
Right.
You know? And then for the pain, I was popping them damn oxycodones like they was fucking Skittles. You know, and between that and the Motrins and shit that don't do nothing, that sent me back down another realm that I had battled to get out of before I wind up going to Iraq, and that was fucking with that coat.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But after 3-4 months, like I say, popping oxys, I mean, I told the doctor, I done had every set that y'all got in this motherfucker. I done had the Percocet, the Darva set, the play school set. Shit. I said, I don't need no more sets up in this motherfucker. Shit, y'all done gave me every set you got.
Right.
You know, and he said, "Well, we can't give you anything." I said, I really would rather not have it." He said, "Well, we can give you a shot, and you can have one every 6 months. And what it'll do is it'll put a barrier between your bones so that you can walk." Now, mind you, they trying to cut on me, telling me I need a knee replacement. I told them I'll be damned if I let y'all put another knife on me.
Mm.
You know, so I've been getting this shot now for over 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and right now it's still working, but it doesn't work as good as it used to.
Right.
You know,
Probably used to it, body used to it.
dude, my knee swole up the size of a bowling ball every 2 months.
Oh man.
You know, so but it's something that you learn to deal with, especially if you don't want them cutting on you. I had a surgery there 2 years ago when they diagnosed me with cancer. And I had surgery there. Them motherfuckers cut me open, took my prostate out, and 2 days later sent me home. Again, with pain pills and some stool softeners. What the fuck is wrong with y'all? You know what I'm saying, man? I was at home struggling, man, and to the point to where I had to call an ambulance to come get me, man. They took me to the hospital. I was in the hospital for 3 weeks.
Wow.
You know, but I wasn't mad at them because they made sure I felt no pain.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The motherfucker told me there was no way in the world you were going to be able to manage that pain at home with the medications that they gave you. You know, that's what I told the V. I said, y'all motherfuckers ain't never cutting on me again. I said, if I ever have to get another surgery done on me, I'm going to an outside hospital.
Right.
You know, because y'all just want to cut on us, give us some pills, sit us home, motherfucker. This ain't the regular military no more where y'all just say, take these ibuprofens and drive on.
Right.
No, it don't work like that.
So okay, so you get sent home from the military. Where's your mindset now when you get sent home?
So I got home from the military, and that was after doing 2 years overseas in Korea.
Mm-hmm.
So actually, when I got out, I decided that I didn't want to stay in, so I got discharged and joined the reserve. And I think I was good. I was good for about a year and a half, you know, and then the streets called back up with my ass again.
Mm.
You know, and that addiction thing is something that you bring on yourself. You know, you can't blame anybody for the choices that you make. So I chose to to do the drugs that I was addicted to. You know, didn't nobody force them on me or nothing like that. It was a choice that I made. And this is when the shit was just coming out. So that's how come I say now, anybody that decides to pick up anything like meth and fentanyl and shit like that, knowing now the things that we know that those drugs do, anybody just that picks up that shit now is just stupid. You know, because they letting you know now that the shit's killing people.
Right.
You know, back when the crack epidemic hit, they wasn't saying shit about that shit. One is because it was in the black community. They ain't give a fuck. You didn't see them motherfuckers putting pipes and little things and for motherfuckers to go pick out and shit or something, you know, or coming up with some kind of way to help an addict or a person that then decided to go out there and fuck their life out. Cause I don't really believe that if you get addicted to something and can't get yourself off of it, that's not because of the drug. That's because of your mind. You just weak-minded. You know, if you can't find a way yourself to stop doing something that you know that's fucking killing you,
Right.
and you can't figure out you need to stop, that's on you. You know,
You right.
that's on you.
Just ask, cause you know most likely I'll never say no, but I don't plan on trying coke. No time soon.
Good. You should have clapped yourself for
I
that
got
one.
you. I got you. You know what I'm saying? I got you. You know. What was that like? How was that experience taking that? Like, how you feel?
Let me see. How can I put this? Cause it's a feeling that you'll never have again. Put it like that.
Mm.
You know, that's what was so addictive about crack. Now I ain't talking about powder.
Right.
I'm not talking about powder. I'm talking about crack. That's a difference between the two. See, once you get that crack in you, you go get high one time. The rest of it, you chasing that high. You trying to get high like that again, and you'll never get that same feeling again, but you'll chase the fuck out that motherfucker trying to get it. You know, any drug you take is a mind-altering substance.
Right.
Okay, so that's the first thing that you got to understand is that any damn thing you take is a mind-altering substance. It's going to be up to the individual themselves if they continue to do the drug or not do the drug. I was one of those people that didn't believe in programs. One of the things is because they're not long enough to start with.
Right.
You know,
Gotcha.
they put you in a damn program and keep you in there for 2 weeks. You going right back to the dope house, bro. Don't even try it. And usually with those 2-week programs, 2 weeks, 1 month programs, you're not going in those to better your life or change what it is that you're doing. If you go into one of those kind of programs, you're doing it for 1 or 2 reasons: to keep your gal or save your job. Okay, neither one of those is gonna save your life. Neither one of them. You got to go into a program like that and be looking long term, cause 2 weeks in a month, especially if you've been out there for a while on that shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You've been out there 2-3 years getting fucked up, and then somebody tells you, we gonna put you in a 2-week program and you gonna be fixed. No, motherfucker, you gonna go in there, get a rest, take a nap, and come out and go straight back to the dope house. Simple as that. Because you go, all while you in there, you gonna be thinking about that hit until you get it. And until you go to the point that it's only one body, one box, ain't nobody getting in that coffin with your ass. Then nobody fist feeds you shit. So the only person that can stop you from doing drugs is you. You know, and a lot of people always ask me, well, what did you do? Did you go through the program? Did you do? No, what worked for me might not work for you. And the only thing I did was stop.
You went cold turkey or
I
moderation?
stopped. You know? And the thing that pissed me off and made me do it that way was it was three guys came into this meeting. Now we all sitting in this meeting, and all they did was came in and stood up there and told us how high they got. You know what I'm saying? So when I got up after the second person started talking, that was enough for me. I got up and started walking out, and the guy asked me where I was going. I said, I'm going to my room, pack my shit, and get the fuck out of here. He said, why? I said, because y'all making me want to get out. I said, y'all sitting up here, I said, the same shit that you telling me is the same shit I was doing out on the street. Now, if you'd have walked through the door telling me what you doing to stay the way that you are now, that would have been something that probably would have helped me. I don't need to know how many rocks you smoked yesterday.
Right.
You know, or how many girls you had in the room when you lit up and lost a couple of rocks and all this shit. Then he started saying, well, those are just war stories. I said, well, them ain't no motherfucking war stories. You want this one? I can tell you some war stories. You know, those get high stories you telling people up in here, you know, and you bumping their head with bullshit.
Right.
You know? And I told him, I said, if you want to help these people, tell these people what you doing to stay clean, man. Don't come in here talking about how you getting high and how high you got and how high you used to get. Now you got motherfuckers sitting in here doing like this, just listening to your story. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Man, I'm finna get out of here. He said, you'll be back in 2 weeks. I ain't been back since.
Oh, man.
You know what I'm saying? You know, it's a mind over matter thing, man. But for some people, it's a little harder. And, you know, and the only reason why it's harder is not because you did the drugs this long and you got this much drug. I'm sorry to say it, you're just weak.
That's another point. Let me read some of these real quick. The Lions Club gang in here. What's going on, Brody? Life of Pablo. Hey, y'all. That's from Mama. What's going on? Rachel says, hey.
Hey.
What's going on, y'all? We got Casmo in the building. Giving us, talking about these addicts being weak-minded. So I got, you know, 2 of your books that you done wrote, you know.
All right.
I'm only through like half of one of them. I'm going to continue to read them. So you wrote Thoughts from an Addicted Mind
Thoughts
first.
from an Addicted Mind was the first book that I put together. And that book was put together while I was in that 2 week, 1 month program thing that I walked out of. And while I was in there for that week and 3 days, it was a week and 3 days that I stayed there. I started writing poetry, and some of it seemed like gibberish. Um, but what it was me finally getting to the point to where I could think clearly. And I've always been a person that loved to write. So I started writing these poems out, and noticed that all I was doing was basically telling the story of my life through words. Um, the first thing I had to do was acknowledge that I had a damn problem to myself. I didn't think me sitting up telling somebody else, yeah, I got a problem, was doing too much for me. I had to admit to myself that I was fucking myself up. Uh, Once I got through that, I had to understand the fact that I wasn't gonna be able to do that shit by myself. Uh, and the best thing that I could think of at that time was to give it all to the person to the person that I decided to call my higher power, which is Jesus Christ. Everybody, you can call him what you want to, but it's only one of them. I don't think it's 20 gods up there. So it's only one. You can call him what you want to. But you have to understand the fact that you don't have to do it alone, and you don't have to listen to stupidity. And one of the things that I thought that was real stupid when I was in my phase of coming out of that darkness was when people tell you you need to get away from certain people, places, and things. If you do that, you're setting yourself up for fade, automatic fade. One, I don't give a fuck where you go. You're not gonna never get away from people, places, and things.
For real.
You ain't gonna never get away from drugs, cause you go be around drugs for the rest of your life. So to try to separate yourself from, and this is when I started saying it, and people was like, damn, that makes sense. To separate yourself from people, places, and things would be just like isolating yourself from the world.
Mm-hmm.
And an addict alone is in bad company. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you battling something, the best thing that you could do is, one, have somebody that you could talk to. That's willing to listen to your story, and not judge.
Right.
One is I know I fucked up, and I wasn't gonna be able to help myself until I admitted to myself that I fucked up. Then the process starts.
Right.
None of it was easy. Hell no, it wasn't easy. Shit, I sweated for days. But I did it. I did it because I was sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Right.
Okay. And when I heard that saying, I was like, that makes a whole bunch of sense. Cause until you get to that point, you go keep doing what you was doing. And that means that if you keep doing what you always did, you go always get what you always got.
That's a word right there, man.
So I was blessed to be able to say that I was able to tackle my addiction without having to go into a long program and sit around and listen to quote unquote war stories, and spend my money on stupid books like the AA book, which wasn't nothing but stories of people drinking. How you go cure yourself reading the stories about people drinking? That didn't make any sense to me.
Because it's gonna make you want to drink.
The first you gotta read these stories about how they got drunk and got banged out in a house by 6 dudes and then kept drinking, and then at the end, all hearing all that shit happen to them, you hear, and then well, why didn't you just skip all that and just get to the and then
Right.
Because the same thing that you saying, I've done that shit already. I don't need to hear my story through your eyes. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Get to the point where you can tell me what you did to get to where you are now.
Right.
And that was one of the things that I took out of when I would go and talk to people, and they'll say, well, we got a couple of war stories. I tell them the first thing I'm not going to sit up here and talk to you about is drugs and alcohol.
Right.
I'm not even going to mention them, because that's what you're trying to get away from. Doesn't make any sense for me to come here and fill your head with drugs and alcohol stories. That's redundant,
Right.
It's redundant.
That's what we trying to get away from.
Trying to get away from it. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay. So, how long did it take you to write this book? What's the process like?
Thoughts from Addicted Mind was written and put together in a 3-year period. In a 3-year period. And the reason why it took that long was because I had so many writings that I had done that I had to categorize them myself and put them to where even they would start to make sense. Like I had, this chapter, this chapter, this chapter. If you look at it, it went from my religious to me finding my higher power first, finding that and putting it on the table and sitting down and dealing with it with him. And then it went through the phase to where I finally started getting clear thoughts and could write. And then it went to where I started thinking about, damn, I done messed up with this girl. I done did this. I done did that. That was another whole chapter. And then finally, the end, where I can actually sit back and say, shit, that I did all that. I fucked that up. You know what I'm saying? But, now I've completed it and got it into so many sets. So, yeah, Thoughts from Addicted Mind was a book. It took me approximately 3 years to put it all together. And that was my first book. And I did that when I sent it to a publishing company and had an editor and all that, which was another story. The editor decided that she wanted to start changing words and moving stuff around. The first thing I had to tell her was, one, this isn't a book. It's poetry. Poetry sometimes isn't going to be, correct all the time with all that. I said, I just needed you to do the punctuations and stuff like that. She took one of my pieces and took half a paragraph out and said it didn't fit right. I said, because it's poetry, lady. Now when you read it, it makes no sense.
Right.
Because you took out half of the meaning of that piece. So when when that one finally got done, I told myself that the next book I do, I'm gonna edit it myself. So the second book was self-published. I published Mere Words myself.
Did it take as long as the first book?
No, it didn't take as long. The reason why that one took so long, again, I had so many pieces that I had to go through, and I wanted to make sure I put the right pieces in the right book, because it's some stuff that's in Mere Words that was supposed to be in Thoughts from an Addicted Mind, but if I'd have kept going, it'd have been like way more pages than it already is. So, but those my babies, man, and I love writing.
That's what's up. Cause yeah, I sure was reading Thoughts from an Addicted Mind, and just how you was giving God, his kudos, man.
Oh yeah,
that was dope.
But you like I say, everybody has one. At least I hope they do. It doesn't matter what you want to call them. If you don't believe that's up to you too.
Right.
That's the one thing that I don't believe anybody should do, is force religion on anybody.
Mm-hmm.
You should never force religion on anybody. If you religious, good. Don't be a hypocrite though.
Right.
You was out in the streets wild as hell until you got up in your 50s. Now you want to be holy than thou and shit now. What they say, keep the same energy.
Right.
He already know who you is. What you trying to change now? You think this is gonna get you in heaven? Right. After all the shit you done, keep the same energy. It's hard, and sometimes people make being religious a little bit too hard. If you believe and you read anything, the only thing he asks you to do is believe in him. That's all he asks you to do. Hey, he said he ain't gonna mess with. I think if you read the word, it say he ain't gonna mess with free will. So that's letting you know you do what you want to. But look, you gonna have to one day. You gonna have to, You have to
Like,
answer for that
yeah,
shit.
like,
You know
hey,
what I'm saying? Come on,
hey,
you have to answer
when
for
it's
it.
that time and he
You
pull
know?
up, like, all
Hey,
right.
yeah, look, why your book 3,000 pages long, you know? And now you over here telling on this guy. You know,
Nah, but
that's like
he
politicians.
probably be like, nah, we worried about you. We talking about
This
you.
your story, you know. But like I say, the thing that gets me with that is the hypocrites, man. Don't be hypocritical of the way other people are living their lives when you used to do it too.
Right.
Okay, and not just because you didn't change your life, that don't give you carte blanche to go back and judge nobody else.
Right.
You know, keep the same energy. don't,
Hey,
don't make me pull out your paperwork, bro.
hey, for real though, because what you said in the book, how you was saying, because I feel like I'm going through this now. Like you was like, how God put certain people in your life,
Yeah, oh
just
definitely.
just like your enemies or whatnot,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
to keep
Your
you.
enemies have a purpose.
Yeah, right, and they
Yeah,
do. They
yeah.
really do.
Definitely they do. You see, people need to understand. Sometimes stuff will get put in your path just to see how you go react to it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's not put there to hinder you or hurt you or harm you, but it's just to see how you gonna handle this. You know, and he'll put people in your path just to test you to see what you gonna do. You know, cause everybody gotta think, you know, first before you move. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? And any time that you do something quick out of judgment like that, more than likely half of the time it's gonna be the wrong
Like out of
choice.
spite or type
Yeah,
shit.
yeah, it's gonna be the
Yeah.
wrong choice. But you don't know, but that's our nature, you know. And nobody can say it's not. That's our nature. You when something happened to you, we usually act on our first impulse.
Right.
You know, and most of the time your first impulse is the wrong impulse. You know, but
Right.
it happens.
You right. Rachel said, being truly sick and tired will definitely make you start some life changes.
Yes,
Absolutely.
definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
Everybody got a breaking point.
Everybody has a breaking point, but you have to know what's your bottom. Nobody else know what your bottom is. You know, you can be looking somewhere one day and say, "Damn, that motherfucker look bad," but you know what? I ain't hit rock bottom yet.
Right.
You know, you only you can know when you've hit that rock bottom place, and that's when it just slap your ass back into reality. If you get to the point to where you at rock bottom and you still don't know what to do, that's when you start asking for help. You know,
Yeah.
because like I say, everybody ain't built the same. You know,
You,
everybody ain't built the same.
you right about that. Um. Okay. So tell us about Wednesday Wine and Words.
Wednesday wine and words was that's my baby. I believe if I'm not mistaken, it was 2018. Um, my nephew and his wife, Carl, he opened up a club downtown called Last Call on the Landing, and I went to him one day because you know I couldn't work. I was sitting around. I was gaining weight, getting bored, doing nothing, and having what they call it. I was doing some stinking, something like that. Uh, I wasn't thinking right. You
Right.
know, my head was in a bad space, and I needed to find something to do to keep me grounded. So I talked to my cousin, my nephew, and asked him, uh, would it be all right if I tried to do an open mic? You know, because I had been on an open mic scene here, but I had another idea that I wanted to try. Um, so he said, sure, how you want to do it? So me and him went around and we checked out a couple of open mics. He said, okay, I like the idea. What day you want to do? I said, let's do it on Wednesday. We charge about $3 to get in, you know, $3 or nothing, either way, how you want to do it. We charge $3 to get in, man, and it took off to where it was comics coming in, you know. But see, I'm a poet, so I had to go find some poets to come in. So what I decided to do, the very first show, I got this beautiful poet, dynamic female. She goes by the name of Energy, She does the open mic Word Up.
Mm-hmm.
And I got her to be our first host there, and it went relatively well. It wasn't a big crowd or anything like that. But the next one, I got a guy. I went down there and I went to a comedy show, and Brandon Taylor was there. He was on the comedy show, and that's when I met I met Brandon Taylor and I met DJ Black Son. And the three of us got together and we decided to run with Wednesday Wine and Word, but make it comedy and poetry based. Anybody could come. I told motherfucker, I don't give a fuck if you juggle knives, motherfucker. Come on down. You know what? It don't make no sense, no difference. Because it looked like they was doing. Like comedy had its own open mic, poetry had its own open mic, rap had its own open mic, stuff like that. I just put them all together. You know what I'm saying? I wanted everybody to come.
Yeah, nice variety,
Yeah. And Last Call on the Landing was going so well, but like all things that start going too well, the powers that be didn't want them down there no more. So it was another club in the area that kept calling the police on them and saying people was parking where they wasn't supposed to, but yet still at this same club down the street, people were parking in the alleys and out on the street. But now he had some kind of pull, and he kept calling them on them, so they just got tired of it. One day we was in there, and the cop came in there after putting all the tickets on the cars going up the hill. He came in there and said, anybody parked on this side of the street right here, when you go out, when you get that ticket, just tear it up. He said, just tear it up. He said, because such and such down the street just keep calling my boss, telling my boss that we need to write these tickets. So I wrote them. When you get them, just tear them up.
Hey, nah, he said, I just had to do it just so y'all could,
so
they could see. Like, I had to look at them writing them.
I had to do it, but I'm telling y'all now, I ain't gonna show up to none of those court dates, so just tear them up.
I wouldn't either.
Because the guy down the street at the other club is just making it hard. So I stayed there until they decided to close it down, and then I had the chance to meet and talk to John Nix, who owns Legacy up on Delmar and Union. And I got up there and I started doing Wednesday Wine and Words, man, and it just took off, man. Comics, poets, singers, all that, everybody started coming on. But again, as always, somebody had to come up with some kind of way to knock you off your pedestal. I had a couple of comics that decided to start the rumor that I was a janky promoter. Because I started promoting comedy shows and stuff like that. And the thing that got me about that one, bro, was it was about 9 or 10 comics. We had all got together. We was all cool as hell. So I said I was gonna start working with them. So I would have a comedy show and have a couple of poets come up and perform and all that too. But what happened was the guys, I said, look, y'all, I said, I'm finna start, putting some shows together for y'all. I might make some mistakes. So if I do, just come tell me, this, you should try this, because I'm kind of new at this. So when I started, I was give them 10 tickets that they can sell, keep the money. They ain't selling for me. Here's 10 tickets. At $10 a piece, 10 tickets, that was $100. You're getting $100 to do 10 minutes. Because I ain't none of y'all got a 15-minute, 30-minute set yet, but we go get y'all up to that. Now, how you go agree to do something and then later on down the lines think that I'm trying to beat you out your money or something? I came and explained everything to you, how everything gonna work. I didn't change anything. I said, you sell these tickets, you keep the money. I ain't never told an artist. And I wish one would call and said to call me a lie. I ain't never told an artist to sell tickets for me. I ain't never told an artist to sell tickets for me. Now, what I would do is I'll give you 10 tickets for yourself and then say, here's an extra 5 if you get rid of all yours and, somebody want one, you can sell these for me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But you don't have to. If you don't get rid of them, just bring them back, give them to me at the door. But for some strange reason, this individual decided to start throwing the word around. I was janky promoter. And I got on his head. I don't play that shit. You ain't gonna just talk to me any kind of motherfucking way, you know. So they decided to come together and all that shit. But see, if you know you right, if you're doing something and you know you right, you shouldn't stop doing it. So I let them know then. You can talk all the shit you want to. You ain't gonna stop me from doing what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? So again, like I say, if there's anybody out there now, the number is 515-599-1687. If you got proof that Cas Mo ever cheated your ass, you can call in now. We can talk about that, because it's one thing that I do believe, that if you're an artist, you should get paid for whatever the fuck it is that you do.
Absolutely.
You know, shouldn't nobody have to do nothing for free. Shouldn't nobody have to, that's another whole story, but shouldn't nobody have to pay to perform. I think that's one of the, and that is for exposure shit is just stupid to me. You know, I'm not finna pay you $25 to perform, and you charging tickets for people to get in too. What? I'm paying you for my talent.
Right.
That don't make no sense. Well, you getting exposure. Well, I can go outside and pull all my clothes off and get exposure.
Fair enough.
You know, come on now. You know, you don't make these artists, but it worked for some people, and if people still doing it, you know, if you like it, I love it.
Gotcha. Well, we only got a couple minutes left. I got two more questions I want to ask you real quick. What's the three biggest differences from Chicago and STL?
Three biggest difference.
Yes, sir.
One, we stop at stop signs and stoplights. That's.
Hey, bruh, you ain't lying, Chicago boy.
Hey, you asked for three. One, we stop at stop lines, at stoplights and stop signs. We ain't dyslexic. We don't see pots. It's stop. Man, the food is way better than Chi-Town.
Really?
Hell yeah. Come on, bro. Hell yeah.
Okay.
You know what St. Louis will give Chicago a run for their money on?
What's up?
China, man. That's it. After that, it's a done deal. Y'all, it's over.
Wow.
I'm sorry, bro. So let's see. And Temp tags. Okay, man, I'm being nice, man.
I know. That's what's funny, though, dude.
I'm being nice, man.
You know, they say put a dime down.
Yeah.
That's all they got. I see. Shit. That's crazy. Okay, what's on your bucket list?
Oh man, you know, I've been able to smack a few things off of my bucket list. I wanted to get an opportunity to perform at a comedy club. I got to perform at the Laugh Lounge when it was open. That was one of my bucket lists. Man, my bucket list. I want to go to Paris. That's on my bucket list. I would say I want to jump out of a plane, but I did that shit already.
Oh, damn. All right.
I like to perform in a sold out crowd. Yeah.
I got you.
I ain't talking about like Legacy or a hole in the wall. I'm talking about something sold out like the stadium.
Yeah, something crazy, you know?
Yeah.
That'd be tough.
You know, now if somebody told me that I can get you to perform at the Chevy Center for $25, I'd pay him. Hell yeah, if it's gonna be packed, hell yeah,
I'm in there.
For 20. Yeah, I'm in there.
I'm in there.
No, but don't tell me you taking me to the cigar club and you want $50 from now. Not gonna happen, bro.
Ain't gonna happen. All right.
Not gonna happen.
Name your shows. Let them know where they can find you.
Yeah. First of all, bro, thanks for giving me the platform to come down here and talk, man. And
no ways, man.
man, kudos to you on the Lions Club. It's doing pretty well, man. We appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
Mo Pro Productions is down here at Overtime Studio, 3119 Hampton. My name is Cas Mo. I am the CEO of Mo Pro Productions. We have 7 or 8 podcasts here now. Tuesdays Up in Smoke is on every second and fourth Thursday. The Bee Sting is every first and third Friday at 7. Ignorance is an Understatement with Deion Benson is every second and fourth Friday. Bud Smokers and Edible Eaters is every second and fourth Saturday from 6 to 7. Smoke and Vent is every first and third Monday from 7 to 6. The Haiku Hour is every second and fourth Monday from 7 to 8. We got Make It Make Sense. That's every Monday from 8 to 9. We have Love Overtime every Saturday. It is going to be a showcase of St. Louis artists or me in here playing old school music and chilling out with the people, man. So get in touch with us, man. MoPro Production, myself at Cassius Mo McPherson. That's on Facebook. You can get me on Gmail at Casmo63 at gmail.com. Go to the Wednesday Wine and Word page on YouTube and subscribe, man. Number love.
Yes, sir. Casmo, everybody. Let's clap it up. This is another great edition of the Lions Club.
Yeah.
We'll be back next week, as always, 6 p.m. Central Time. You guys already know. If it ain't a vibe, we ain't going live.
We ain't going live.
Yeah.
You know it.